G'day, Paul from Hunter Regional Land Care Network here, and it's September 1st, Wattle Day. What will we talk about? Well, wattles, obviously. Looking at a couple today which do cause a bit of confusion. Both with a similar sounding name and similar growth forms. Acacia salicina and Acacia saligna. Acacia salicina is otherwise known as Cuba or native willow, and the Acacia saligna is known as golden wreath wattle, unless you're a South African, in which case you probably call it Port Jackson, which is a really silly name to call it, but we'll get to that later. Acacia salicina, gold Cuba. That's a lovely foliage there. It's or if we have a look at the phyllodes, I mean, technical term, if you're looking at wattles, long, relatively thin, slightly greyish colour, got a bit of a wrinkle to them. Generally got a bark on them, reddish tinge, and the fruit. Or sorry, didn't mention the flowers. The flowers are generally pale cream colour, and they're fairly indistinct. You've usually got to go looking for them. But the seed pods, when they're ready, a real woody type seed pod with a black seed with nice red aril in there. So that's the local New South Wales native, the Cuba, common one in the Upper Hunter, Acacia salicina. Now looking at Acacia saligna, golden wreath wattle, which is a West Australian species, was used extensively over in the on the east coast for mining rehabilitation, particularly sand mines and coal mines. And there's been a few people going around planting these in the mistaken belief they were a local native. They do outcompete a lot of the natives, and they do crowd a lot of things out. So let's have a look at the Acacia saligna. Obvious thing, real golden yellow flowers coming out today. So golden yellow flowers. They've got a similar leaf to the salicina, or similar phyllodes, being technical, but as you can see, they're a lot bigger. And tend to be a bit more, tend to be a slightly darker shade of green. The other thing is, if you see the bark is generally green on the saligna, where it's a bit reddish on the salicina. On the trunks themselves, the bark on the saligna is usually a brownish colour, whereas on the salicina it's grey. So Acacia saligna, Acacia salicina. As mentioned earlier, the South Africans calling it Port Jackson. This is native to Western Australia, which is nowhere near Port Jackson, a couple thousand kilometres away. So this one's weed, this one's a good one. I'll catch you later.